right, let's get cooking, Charles.
Let's do this.
This is quite the kitchen you have here. Well, thanks for inviting me over.
Of course.
I'm excited to work with you and get cooking.
Yes, let's do this. I'm super excited. Look at all these yummy ingredients. I'm getting so hungry.
We got a lot of great stuff to work with. So today, and what we've talked about is creating a dish that you enjoyed when you were younger, that your grandma used to cook for you.
So this is my Taiwanese minced pork rice. Like this is like the equivalent to the hamburger in America or like pizza. It is ultimate comfort food.
Comfort food.
It brings me right back to home. Like I grew up in Taiwan, so every time I have this meal, I think about my family. My grandma used to have these like dinners every Saturday nights. Regardless if you are sick, you have to show up. Like is a lazy Susan table. We'll all gather around the table and just talk, connect, and share food. And I would sit right next to grandma and she would feed me bowls of this rice to try to get me to get a little bit bigger.
Right. Well, isn't it amazing how, you know, food can really kind of take us back to those memories just viscerally and create that community and connection. It's just incredible.
Absolutely.
So I'm really excited to get in the kitchen today. So first we have a little prep to do.
Yes, let's get into it.
Let's talk about it.
So we got shiitake mushrooms. You can use fresh ones or dried ones and rehydrate, but fresh is always better. I like to cube them up into like little diced pieces.
Cool.
And I'm gonna play around with the cabbage because cabbage is essential. I like this dish because it's so well balanced. My thing is like, I think, you know, like I went through a personal transformation, lost over 100 pounds. I was born in Los Angeles, but then I was raised in Taiwan. Once I moved to Taiwan and I moved back to America, I started getting so overweight because I was eating all this processed food.
Processed food, yeah.
And all the preservatives, like the food quality was just different.
Right.
And I gained all this weight. I have diabetes in my family. So when I started to go on my healthy wellness journey was how can I recreate some of these dishes that I grew up eating without compromising in flavor, but still making sure that it had all the nutrition and nourishment. And that's how I came up with the swap of this recipe. Like, how do I make it low carb and a little bit healthier so we getting all the nutrition in there?
Well, you know, what you just described is exactly what we aim to do with our food at Everytable.
It's perfect alignment because I strongly believe every plate can literally transform people's lives, and these little baby habits, like when you start showing up daily, we eat 3 meals, if not more, a day, and it's like a ritual, right? It can be an act of self-love, or you can deteriorate your health.
Right.
So I think of food as a healing modality, like food heals the body, mind, and soul. When you eat and feel better, you're gonna probably take better actions and
for sure
maybe be less angry or frustrated. I think there's a lot of studies done, like when you start taking care of your nutrition, you're feeding your brain, you know, all these things, all the essential minerals you're getting, then you can actually show up better in your life.
Yeah, and there's so much more research now about your gut biome and how that impacts your overall well-being and health. And
the gut health is literally your second brain. It is your intuition, like your internal GPS system.
And by the way, cabbage is very good for your gut and good for your...
Cabbage, in Asia, they like to ferment it, but we're gonna just do a quick saute today with garlic. I love garlic, so I'm really excited.
Can't get enough garlic.
Yes, yes. We're all ready.
We're ready to go. Let's get cooking. All right.
How did you get into all this?
First, gained all the weight, and then rock bottom, sick and tired of feeling lethargic and no energy. I was like pretty young and I was pre-diabetic. I would wake up with like panic attacks because I couldn't breathe. I was watching Emerald Lagasse like on TV cooking, but I was like, I could do that. And then so I just started going to the farmer's market. I was raised by a single mom and she would give me allowance money and I would go to a daycare center after. All the kids would go to McDonald's and I got addicted to junk food. This is when they had buckets of fries. I don't know if it's even a thing. And kids would get free ice cream cones. Like that's how they get you hooked. So I was eating that, drinking orange soda like every day, gained all this weight. And then I decided, okay, I'm gonna start cooking. And then I started losing all this weight. All my friends are like, what did you do? Like, did you get gastric bypass surgery? I was like, nope. And so I started a blog and it started from that blog. It was crazy. It was before the
What age were you when you started the
blog?
Yeah.
I started like 16, 17. I didn't even think of it as a blog. I thought of it as just documenting my food and recipes and inspiration, because everyone was asking me like, what do you do? I'm like, here, just go here. I share everything. I was logging what I was eating, tracking what I was eating, and then I'm sharing what inspires me in quotes and whatever. It just kept growing. And then Whole Foods reached out to me. They asked me to do a class, and I was at that time I was like, what? Like, I have a blog, like what? Like I don't talk to people. But then when I did my first workshop and then I saw like the light bulb switch go off in people's head, I was like, oh, this is how I can be of service. Like this is beyond just me behind a computer sharing recipes. Like, wow, I can impact and share and I can teach. I loved interacting with the audience. It made me feel like, gave me purpose. There's more than just my personal transformation. Now that I've healed my body, I can guide and help other people who are on their journey, because I know when I was going through, I was so lost. There was so much misinformation and just crap that I was like, dude, what the hell's going on? My intention was just like, how can I be of service? How can I help other people? When I was in college, I studied food justice and I was learning about all this program. And one of my instructors, which I had a conversation with recently, reached out and was like, turn this thing into your school project. Like, take this, just, explore. And kind of gave me like, go for it. Because you're combining food justice with what you're doing with media, and it's pretty powerful.
Sure.
So then I was like, okay. I took it on as like a marketing project, and then a TV producer reached out who became my mentor, asked to interview me on like a show, a wellness show. I was like, how did you even find my blog? Like, this is crazy. And that just kind of, ever since that, everything is in alignment. I believe in like, I never forced it. So when I meet people who are influencers or whatever, I just was like, how can I serve? I just didn't want anyone to be in that place of like suffering, because I was like, I've been there. I don't want to do that. And there's a better way. So that's just kind of how it happened.
I love it, man.
All right, so let's get into it. We're gonna make our sauce. This is our favorite part. Start with some oil. Got some sunflower oil, great for neutral, high heat cooking.
Yeah.
Add in some shallots. Ooh, yes, we love that sizzle.
I love those shallots. They have a nice kind of savory, but also sweet.
Usually we use brown sugar, but we're gonna add coconut sugar. It's low glycemic and it gives you that same flavor. We're gonna help it just
I already smell how good that smells.
It's gonna taste so good. That already smells amazing.
Right? So tell me about the shiitakes we just added.
So shiitake mushrooms, I like it to be a little bite size. It adds some umami flavor into it. Also, healthy plant-based protein right there. Getting vitamin D, which
and
is
mushrooms
really good.
also very healthy, and enjoying kind of a moment. I see mushroom teas and all sorts of different mushroom
I'm
things.
so happy to see all the medicinal benefits of mushrooms in trend. So next thing, we're gonna add in some ginger. Great for your immune system too.
Ginger, yeah.
And then we're gonna add in some garlic. Oof.
That combination of the ginger and garlic is
This is already medicinal.
Yeah.
Like, right? We got ginger, we got garlic, we got shallots,
Oh, it
the
smells so
mushrooms.
roasting that garlic and getting some of that brown color kind of develops some flavor and complexity, right?
I'm so surprised with all the AI technology. Remember Emerald Lagasse used to say smell-o-vision? We still don't have smell-o-vision. Like,
We don't, no.
I wish people can smell this.
We should work on that.
Yeah, we should.
And this is some rice wine.
Rice
right?
wine. Smells so good. We're gonna cook it down. Cook down the alcohol a little bit, but this, just a little bit goes a long way. This already brings back the aromatics of Asian flavor and what I grew up with. We're building layers of flavor.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, when you taste this dish, yeah, it's like a comfort food, but so many different layers. And this is what I grew up with. Like, my palate was so exposed early on. It wasn't just like, here's salt and pepper. It was like so much flavor, and we're gonna hit it with all these different herbs later.
That's
too.
so cool, like, and because a lot of your life habits start as a kid.
Yeah.
And, having exposure to different cultural foods or different flavors and different, vegetables, it's so important. And
Yeah.
I try with my kids. The rule is they have to try once. So.
Yeah, and I think the thing about cooking is that making it a fun act, a creative act,
Definitely.
taking the pressure off, it could be such a great way to reconnect people with the food, but also with their body. Like, what are they putting into their body? They're actually touching, they're seeing someone cook their food rather than just like picking up something.
Right.
All right.
I love that. It smells amazing.
Smells so good.
So what's next?
All right, we're gonna add in hoisin sauce. It'll thicken it up. And also we're going for this like brown color. So this is gonna help with color, but also flavor. Also brings in a little bit of sweetness and thickness.
Right.
So it's browning up. We got the mushrooms, the shallots, the ginger, the
It
garlic.
smells so amazing. I'm getting hungry.
Yes, me too. It's gonna taste so good. This is such a great dish to introduce because it is very balanced. You're getting all the veggies, the carbs, like the protein, the fat, the sweetness from the orange juice.
Yeah, it's very rich and flavorful and complex, like you were saying, but also balanced in the overall nutrition and not something that's gonna weigh you down. You know, it's gonna give you that high protein, low carb kind of meal that you might be looking for.
Yeah. Next, we got some sesame oil. All right. Black fermented garlic paste. This is so healthy. I wish this would trend more. Yeah. This adds a bit of sweetness, but also it's so healthy for you. It's like that umami that you're looking for. Look at that caramelization, so good.
Delicious.
Everything's coming together. Orange juice. This is such a great little hack. Adding in sweetness.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the fat later, so this is gonna help break through and just bring everything together again. And then it's coming, you're getting vitamin C too, so why not? Ooh, this is already looking so good.
Smells amazing.
Yes. Some soy sauce. Yum. Just let this simmer for a little bit, and then we're gonna start on our pork.
The chicken stock still,
yes.
right?
And the great thing about the sauce, Tim, is like you can add this on noodles, rice, whatever you want, but we're adding it on today with cauliflower rice. It's gonna make it really nice for sure. So this is a secret ingredient. This is Chinese 5-spice. It basically includes clove, star anise, some cinnamon, some fennel, and some Sichuan peppercorn. This is used in a lot of traditional Taiwanese cooking, Chinese cooking, but it brings up so much aroma. And they used to have it in like an herb bag, but now you can get it in powder form. Perfect combination. And again, going back to like healing properties of food, the herbs. And then this, we have some shiitake mushroom powder to add even more umami. Because we're trying to control like the sodium and things like that, we're trying to build flavor on things that don't add in more sodium, because we don't want too much sodium. We want the flavor.
And honestly, if you're not a mushroom fan, you would not even necessarily pick it up, but you would, I think you would taste it and you get that umami flavor.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's really good.
Black pepper, sesame seeds. We love some protein. And then this is
gochugaru, the chili flakes.
Gochugaru chili flakes. So this is chili flakes. Add in a little bit of spice, just a little bit of heat, but nothing too overpowering.
Bringing all those other kind of flavor elements in to kind of create that flavor synergy and that umami. And without, again, having to just rely on that salt as a crutch.
This looks so bomb. As you can see, very liquidy. We're gonna add in a little bit of cornstarch in here just to thicken it up.
Just gives us a little body, right?
Yes. Okay. You know what this reminds me of, Tim? Like, this is like making like a gravy, like a nice sauce. And I always share this with people, like cultivate your unique sauce, right? In life, in cooking.
Right.
Like we have this sauce that's been marinating for thousands of years from our ancient ancestors. And then you coming into this world, it's like put your own essence to whatever you're cooking. This is just a foundation in life.
I love that. I think I love that philosophy.
And I'm so excited to share this dish because it is something that is very dear to my heart and my family. Sharing culture and food through food and a plate of food is like a great connector and a conversation piece to try something new. Like whether this year you want to expand your palate and then expose yourself to a different culture, food is the best way. Like
it really is.
My whole thing is like when I travel, I will go to someone's home and just like eat their food and with no judgment, just like open my mind to be like, tell me about your food, because there's so much story involved in food, you know, history, their family.
That's what's so cool is like we all eat, we all love food, but everybody kind of experiences it and lives it differently. And that's what's so cool when we can get together around kind of a meal and kind of share all that, you know?
Yeah. So this is a perfect opportunity to throw in our eggs.
Okay.
Because I like to make sure that the eggs are marinated in the sauce.
Yeah.
So we have some hard-boiled eggs and we're just gonna literally gently let it do its thing.
Wow.
And my grandma would cook the sauce overnight for like hours, and the longer it would cook,
Right.
the more sauce and the
Oh,
cultivate of all those flavors will start to come out.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right,
That
the
looks
sauce
awesome.
looks very happy.
So I'm so glad that this is a full circle moment and that we're all working together, because it really does feel very aligned. And when I first saw Everytable, I was like, oh my gosh, like, yes, 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 you guys get it, you know?
I think for us, it's like, food is like, it's all about, okay, is it fresh? Is it made from scratch? Is it whole foods? But it's also like, people have a story with food. Like they have like, everybody you meet has this like history that's either their family or oftentimes it's like shame and embarrassment and addiction or what the economic situation they were in, etc. And so this is like an effort to say like, well, can you sort of like build a system that enables like a better relationship with food for everybody by making both like healthy, fresh meals available and accessible for everybody, but then also like partnering with people like you and, understanding like your journey and your story and why food matters to you, because it's not, as it's not just your story, it's sort of like everybody's story on some level, or everybody's going to see some part of their story in you and their relationship with food in you. And so that's why it's so good to hear like your story, because I feel like it is sort of like this symbiotic relationship between like, it's the same for me, is like what you sort of like rode a wave to getting here to be of service. And that's, if you'd asked me like 20 years ago if I was going to be in the food business, I would have never said that. And yet it just sort of like happened, and it's exactly where I want to be in the world.
But I feel like something that people need to know and understand, because now that you've dived into the food system, you realize all the behind the scenes that people don't see. So I feel it's so important for consumers to understand every dollar that they're voting with every single day with every meal. I really believe it's like every day we're voting with the dollars, like of what companies we're supporting. So when I think about brand collaborations or partnerships, it's like, does their mission align? Are their ethics and morals and values align? Because if not, you are promoting and supporting something like that.
Well, I mean, to that end, like the major thing that I realized about the food business is that everything that we think of as sort of like normal food availability was basically like driven by sort of the economics of food and sort of how it
Industries,
works.
yeah.
And it turns out that like making mass-produced food that is shelf-stable and non-perishable is incredibly efficient. And so companies, before they understood that all this stuff was going to be fatal to us, they like built these huge businesses around them, and the products they were making solved a lot of problems for people. Like they tasted good, they were cheap, and if people were on a budget, they were never going to go bad. You could keep them in your pantry for as long as you wanted. People adopted them, and then the companies sort of built. And what happens with companies, as you know, is like once you get big, then it's all about the survival of the company and maintaining this thing that got you here. And to your point, like now consumers like are faced with this choice where you have basically like cheap junk that tastes good, and then if you're a kid, you like, of course your kids like it, etc. It's hurting them, it's hurting the planet, it's hurting our healthcare system, everything. That's why I think this is so hard on some level, because it's like, first of all, you've got to change the sort of like economics of food and deal with fresh, made from scratch food, which is, there's a reason that the food system didn't develop around that naturally, is because it's harder, it's more dangerous, etc. But then you also have to take on the stuff that we're all doing together, which is like, how do you meet people where they're at? How to taste change over time? Like how do you, and then you're also dealing with people's like long-term history of their relationship with food. And it may be that you had like, your mom would give you like, what breakfast was like in my house growing up was like Lucky Charms, Cocoa Puffs, Rice Krispies, and you would feel like healthy if you ate the Rice Krispies instead of like you know what I mean? It's like, and we all have these memories, and so it's like, how do you sort of like shift that for people sort of over time,
Yeah, I was a big cereal person too.
Dude, cereal's the best food of all time, man. But like, think about it as for a parent, like to prepare food, you're just like dunk dunk, you're done. It's like it's like, and like that's why people adopt it. So it's like your kids are super happy. There's cartoons on the front, and they made them so interesting.
All right, so now we're gonna play around with our pork. My favorite part.
Pork time.
Gonna add in our sunflower oil, some shallots, some coconut sugar, and then the pork part, we're doing pork butt. You can use pork belly, you can use whatever, but this is a leaner meat and also has a nice combination of a little bit of fat. So it's like
Right.
the perfect, I feel like, cut for this.
So it has some fat, but not as much as pork belly. So it's still rich and
So we can still
flavorful.
get that lean protein in there, but
Love
a little
that.
bit of flavor. Mmm, smells so good. All right, let's throw this in
There you go.
there.
I'll hold this for you.
Thank you. Generous pieces. They'll break down in the
Yeah.
sauce a little bit, which
Yep.
is gonna be great. All right.
Wow. This pork butt, right? We par cooked a little bit, right?
Yeah.
With some just salt, pepper, and some onions and garlic.
Yeah,
And,
but we can add in a little bit of 5-spice.
well, the 5-spice is nice because it, you know, toasts with the pork a little bit.
Yeah,
and,
all right. And a little bit
that
of
looks amazing.
salt.
Yeah.
Right, that looks so good. Just browning it up. And the sugar just really nice caramelizes everything, brings it together.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can see how quickly the shallots caramelize.
Yeah, and the meat is so nice because it's gonna break apart, and when you eat it with the cauliflower rice, oof,
Yeah,
it's all about the different pieces, right?
Yeah.
We're building the plate.
it smells so good. So now we add the sauce into the pork,
Yeah,
right?
let's add in the sauce.
All right.
Look at this.
Wow, look at
It's
that.
definitely thickened up. That is perfect consistency right there.
Yeah.
The
You
eggs.
see the mushrooms and the shallots and those
It
eggs.
smells so good.
Oh, that's great.
Grandma would be happy.
Grandma would be
Grandma
happy.
would be very happy.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, look at those babies.
Yeah, I love that simmering reduction there of some of the sauce and flavor.
Are you hearing this? Ooh, look at how thick that sauce is. Are you gonna pour it in?
I'm gonna pour some in because I think
Alright.
we need more sauce.
All right, shallots. Ooh, look at that thickness. That is perfect consistency right there.
What do you think?
Oh my God, my tummy is ready.
I am too. It's lunchtime.
Yes.
So I think we just have a couple more things to do, right?
Yeah, we're
can
gonna
you pass
do
me
our-
the lid. We'll put the lid on
Yes.
and have this simmer off to the side there.
All right, let's simmer this baby. Now we're gonna work on our cabbage. This is very easy. Just a nice little saute, some oil and some garlic. We don't need to over season it because we have the sauce. It's gonna be very flavorful. This is just like a garlic cabbage.
And everything at the end is going to kind of come together, right? There's going to be, you know, the pork and the cauliflower rice. Yeah, and I love cabbage.
Vitamin C, so good for you.
It's a very underrated, underutilized vegetable, I think.
I love cabbage. Sometimes less is more, right? Like I just feel like I love the simplicity when you can actually taste the vegetable.
Yeah, this is a great example also of, you know, using techniques to develop flavor, like, you know, roasting the cabbage, getting that brown caramelization, you know, those natural flavors, natural sugars, and just bringing them out.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to do a lot to it.
It looks like a
Yeah.
lot, but it always cooks down
It
a
all
little
kind
bit.
of, the liquid comes out,
Yep.
braises down.
I'm gonna
Amazing.
add a little bit of salt. It'll help with bringing out the moisture
Right.
there. All right, it's cooking down. It's looking good. I grew up eating so many different vegetables. What's your favorite vegetable, Tim?
Favorite vegetable?
Or maybe there's
Yeah.
something that you grew on, because sometimes
Yeah.
as little kids you don't like
Oh,
vegetables.
yeah, I didn't like any vegetables. I think
Okay.
they all grew on me. Like many people, and mushrooms and eggplant and things like that before I learned to be
eggplant,
before I
yes.
learned to cook and be a chef and understand, you know, how to develop flavor. You know, one of my favorite is, you know, sauteed mushrooms like we're gonna, you know, enjoy today.
Yeah, that looks amazing. Look, it's already
Yeah, it's
cooking
getting that
down.
color.
That's all we
Smells
need. We want to keep a nice crunch. You don't want to overcook the cabbage because I'm a texture guy. I'm sure you
Yeah.
are too. So we're building texture in our plate.
Amazing.
Looks so good. All right, that looks good.
Wonderful. Oh, we have one more thing, right? The edamame.
Oh, yes.
We're gonna include some edamame.
All right, so we have some edamame. Again, protein
Yeah,
and
lots of
texture. I love edamame. It's like a healthy snack that I always eat on.
And you mentioned protein. Part of the reason this dish is high in protein is because the edamame is a great source of plant-based protein. So
We love the phytonutrients, and
Yeah.
then we're getting the pork protein as well. So you're getting a lot of healthy protein to build some healthy muscles. Great for kids. It's well balanced. That's what I like this dish. Like eggs, pork, you got the edamame, the veggies,
Yeah.
cauliflower, and you're getting all the spice. This is
all right.
looking good.
So
We're
while
gonna-
that's simmering, we will get ready to plate our lunch.
let's do it.
One of the defining issues of our time is like how this country figures out how to eat, and then how the world sort of figures. And it's not even like figures out how to eat in the future. It's like sort of like how to go back to how we used to eat on some level and reverse this. But in order to do that, there's so many crazy, complicated steps along the way.
But like what you just said, I love the idea of bringing people back to how we used to eat, because I was sharing the story of my grandma that every Saturday nights, like our family would gather around a lazy Susan and have dinner and just talk. I feel like that's what we need. We need conversations. We need to connect. People are so stuck on technology. It's like, no, let's share a meal. Let's connect. Let's share our perspectives and connect.
I love it, man. Well, we're so happy to be working with you.
Yeah.
I feel like the dish is so incredibly good and healthy and tastes amazing and flavor. I mean, we're so excited about it.
I'm so excited to share it. And honestly, it was a full circle moment, because what you talked about, like people had so much shame around their food. And because I'm a first generation, like Asian American, growing up in America, and like remember like going to lunch and not wanting to like share your heritage and your food. Part of this journey is like reclaiming my cultural identity and like being able to share that with other people and giving it like my healthy twist. Like this is like an upgraded, elevated version of my plate that I grew up with.
I love it, man. That's perfect. So good to be working with you.
Yes, cheers, thank you. All right, let's plate this baby.
Starving.
Ooh, this looks so good. So cauliflower rice, great alternative. Very low carb, but very flavorful. And it has a nice texture too.
Amazing pork.
Ooh, look at that. Smell that. Ooh,
Wow.
that smells so good. It
That
smells like
smells
home.
amazing.
That really smells so good. I'm so happy with
Oh, I'm
this.
so excited to eat this.
Look at how thick the sauce is. That looks perfect. It's
Yeah,
been
really kind of
simmering.
thickened up with the.
Yeah, the meat's breaking apart. That looks so bomb. And then the egg is essential. I love that we kept the egg whole, because that's how I grew up eating it.
Yes.
Grandma would always give me an extra egg just because she was like, you're a growing kid, you gotta eat more.
Grandmas are always right.
Yep. This is so hearty, like you said, perfect for the weather, the season, but also just a year-round good dish, right? Edamame for some protein. I always eat with my eyes. I'm like, it's gotta look visually beautiful. And also try to get the rainbow too, right? Try to eat a variety of different colors for your nutrition. We have some cabbage.
Okay. This is a beautiful garlic roasted cabbage.
Such a classic Taiwanese side dish is just like having some garlic cabbage. And it's so simple, but so tasty.
Grandma approved.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then you got some mushrooms here.
Mushrooms.
Wanna do the
I'll do the
mushrooms?
mushrooms.
I'll cut some cilantro.
Yeah, cilantro. All right, this looks so good.
All right,
So
so
top it off some
little
cilantro. Yum. Some fried shallots. Get that crunch in there, y'all.
extra
Don't
shallots for
skimp.
me.
Yes, don't skimp on the shallots.
All right, Charles.
Less talking, more eating. Let's
it's
try
been
this.
a pleasure.
Cheers.
Awesome. Cheers.
Oh my gosh, smells so good. Big bite. Oh my God. I did a happy dance. Grandma would be proud. This is so bomb. The texture, the meat is perfect. Got the cabbage.
I love the garlic cabbage. Super flavorful.
Wow.
The mushrooms.
The sweetness coming out from the orange juice and also the hoisin sauce.
It brings it all together. That's a really nicely
Balanced
dish.
meal. Yeah, you're getting the Chinese 5-spice, the cinnamon, edamame. I think people are gonna be very happy.
I think so too.
So this dish is called Taiwanese minced pork rice. The Mandarin version is lu lo fan. Yeah, so if you wanna learn how to say it, follow me.
Nice job, Charles.
Cheers.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers, you guys. Make sure you check out this meal. Bon appetit.